Today I'm going to paint this street scene in beautiful historic town Berima, and we'll show how we can transfer this ordinary light into a glowing light in watercolor. Let's start with that one. Here I did a good and detailed drawing. Drawing is one of the most important part when you're painting in watercolor. And the first thing I did, fill up all my necessary colors in there, especially my go-to color yellow ochre, burnt sienna, and French ultramarine. These are the main three colors which I will be using in this painting. And I'll start with brushing up some clean water on the paper to make the paper wet to get my sky. And I will be using French ultramarine. Just quickly, just make a suggestion of the sky. And you can see the consistency of my pigment is very watery. And I'll be using yellow ochre to do the bit of cloud, and I'll let them on the paper to be merged. And in the whole idea of this painting is to have glowing transparent color as your initial wash, and determine where the sunlight will be hit, and then using the proper dark to pop up those sunlight area. So I'm just doing a bit of making initial wash with French ultramarine, and just trying to figuring out where the light will be up in there. I'm using Balhong paper and golden maple brush, both synthetic and natural. My paper size is half sheet, which is around 35-55 centimeter. And I'll be using gray on the street now, using French ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just a very light wash. As I said earlier, that to have really glowing colors and to have really glowing light on your painting, it is very important to have those initial wash done in a proper way and proper consistency on your colors. So I'm just quickly making those initial wash. Now I'll be mixing some French ultramarine with cobalt blue with a bit of darker consistency, which is a bit higher than the previous one. And my paper is already dry, so I'm just doing the distance trees now. Just having very light as they're far, just adding a little bit of turquoise green, cobalt turquoise, and just doing the distant trees as well. Apart from French ultramarine, burnt sienna, and yellow ochre, I just use that hint of cobalt blue and this cobalt turquoise in this whole painting. So I'm just thinking where else I'm gonna use the bit of dark and show the lights. When showing the lights, you just need to make sure you need to plan ahead whether your light will be showing. While they are wet, I'm just adding a little bit of yellow ochre and burnt sienna onto my existing mix. I'm just dropping those color to let them blend automatically. So this is the area where I want dark to be prominent. And as I said, when painting lights on your whole sheet, on your whole painting area, will not be that effective. Rather, that's why you need to plan ahead where exactly you want to show the lights glowing. Say in this area, just painting lighter green in the background, then making dark a little bit in the foreground, is your dark is popping up. And when your dark is popping up, the lights on the building, they will be glowing automatically. I need to do this area a bit more darker, just because so the building pops up against that dark. As you can see, the edges of the building, that one and this one, both I tried to paint in a negative shape. I always try to take the advantage of wet paint. Always try to drop some paint on the paper while the paper is wet as well. The foliage in the background is not that important as long as you have just a suggestion of the trees over there. Just adding a bit of darker. The horizon. Now on the one of the house, I'm just using burnt sienna and yellow ochre mix. Just the color of the old building. And a bit of grey on the roof. And quickly just suggesting some windows, and down at the bottom it's gonna be really dark, so just adding some texture. Now with the umbrella, they're colorful umbrellas, so just adding a bit of cadmium red. Yeah, I think I forgot to mention I use, only here and with the people faces, I have used cadmium red. Just down there, it's going to be a bit of just darker. I don't have any specific pigments to paint dark. Whatever is on my palette, I just mix them together and just paint them dark. And for the cars, I'm not going to paint the cars in details, but I'm going to paint their shadows with extra caution. just painting a little bit of suggestions of the shadows. When painting cars like that, even though they're very tiny, small little cars, you will need to be careful having different ranges of to draw paint, different ranges of values. As you can see, my darks, they're not, all of them are not the same value. This car I'm going to paint with a burnt sienna. And I'm just painting dark a little bit and then washing with the clean water and painting the rest. Just quickly drawing the backgrounds, the windows and stuff. This side of the building will be a bit darker, and the foliage here, just some dry brush strokes for the suggestions. And the cars in the distance, just quickly just paint the shadows, and they will make sense. They will be looking like cars. And for those, I'm just using simply just dropping some darks and blacks in there. Some directional line on the street. I'm just wetting the paper with my palette color, whatever I have in there, and then slowly I'm dropping darks in there. And just quickly draw the shadows. And the tail light. And here probably just it looks empty, that's why I'm just adding some bit of grass or some different variation of the pigments. Some dry brush stroke and stuff. I'm gonna do those people now very quickly, just dropping the face colors all at one go, and just painting those people with the dark colors. If you want to learn how to paint people quickly, I've got a PDF in the description box in the comment. You can just quickly have a look. You can download that one, those are free, and it has got really good information about how to draw peoples. And even I have another one which will be helpful for you to practice how to do the washes on watercolors. Just quickly draw these people. The people, they're not main subject in this painting. In this painting, main subjects is the street scene and the glowing light reflecting on the buildings and the street. I'm using this flat brush to paint the texture of the roof with dry brushstroke of burnt sienna. Just paint the signboard. This building was a post office before. Now they are used as a cafe, so it's called Post Cafe. Some wintry trees and foliages. And for the tree, I'm using thick mix of French ultramarine and burnt sienna. Just randomly painting the branches and the foliages. The electric pole. Just do the shadow part. And the small, tiny electric wires. I'm almost finishing my painting. I'm just doing a bit of details here and there, the texture, the smokes, this kind of stuff. And I think in the foreground I need to have a little bit wash, make it a little bit darker. So have a clean water first, and then having burnt sienna and French ultramarine mix, making it a gray and having a very light wash of that one. Having some texture with the splatter effect. So having a light wash is making the underneath painting of the street is glowing more. And that's it. Just signing my painting. And that's my friend. This is how you can paint the street scene, and you can use your dark and the wash to glow your painting with the lights. I hope this was helpful to you. If you like it, please consider subscribing and give it a like. And if you have any suggestion, please let me know in the comments. Thank you very much. I will see you in the next video. Bye.